Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for the season finale of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. The End. I did not like this at all. And that's not because of what happened. The execution of everything just started going crazy. I know they had to wrap it up somehow, but this was just not good. So, we pretty much get back into it as everybody's arguing what to do, where Daisy's pretty much wanting to use it to heal Coulson, and Yo-Yo's pretty much just spouting and shouting crazy stuff, saying nobody's listening to me when she's not talking to anybody. She has really gotten at no point sat down with somebody and explained in full what she heard from her future self. And this makes it even more worse to the fact in that after this scene, she says to Coulson, I'm like, listen, I just don't want to put all of our bets on you. And I'm like, no, you were shouting and raving like a crazy one. Don't try and make it look like you're being the reasonable one here. So while they were arguing about whether to use it to heal Coulson or to kill Talbot, May kind of took the decision out of everybody's hands and dropped and destroyed the Odium. Which, I don't blame her for doing it. I mean, she's been with Coulson the longest and loves him. And she wasn't going to take that kind of crap. And I'm like, yeah. Granted, she's using her emotions for this stuff, but really, would you be able to get close enough to Talbot to use that? And if you did use it, he would still be... It's not like Odium's a quick death. He would go stark raving mad, crack the world, then die probably. But hey, this is the way... This is how this whole thing comes into it. So, we've gotten to this point. Coulson's like, alright, fine. They're pretty much... May's pretty much trying to get him to take it and kind of leaves it to his decision. And they figure out that Talbot is in Chicago because Talbot has coerced Robin into giving him the information of where the Gravitonium is. And we see him going out and just pulling out just a really small amount of Gravitonium. I mean, he pulls out this whole giant thing and it's just a little bit of Gravitonium and that's about all we get from him. He's still trying to like look around and do this. Never mind the fact that he's using one of the Remorse ships. I thought there was only one ship, and I don't know how Talbot got it wasn't very clear how he got a hold of the ship. I thought that I thought there was only one Remorse ship, and I thought Talbot flew off in a Quinjet. How did he get this ship and to land it in Chicago? It hurt me. Cause I'm like, I'm taking 2 and adding 2 and you're giving me 5 and I don't know how you're getting this. So, that was another crazy thing. We get to the point where everybody figures this out. They then go off to attempt to take out Talbot and fix everything that's going on. Coulson has walked in and gives Daisy her gauntlets, and before this she had given this speech saying, listen, I have been emotional with this. I don't think I'm the best for this team. I think that Max should be the leader and lead S.H.I.E.L.D. And I'm going, okay. I would have rather had May, but how this episode ends makes sense of why they chose Mac. And I don't have a problem with Mac. Mac's usually level-headed and is a pretty good moral center for a group. I'm just disgusted with the way that it goes along through it. So I liked Daisy recognizing her fact of that she is not the best to lead at this point in time and defers to it. Coulson also agrees once he gives the gauntlets and they just start trying to figure out what's going on. S.H.I.E.L.D. blasting over the radio that they're coming in to help. Mac, May, and Fitz go off to save who's ever in the Remorth's ship, mainly going after Polly and Robin to try and help them, while we get Daisy and Coulson on the Quinjet. And, of course, Coulson lets slip that he did not take the restorative centipede formula, and that Daisy is freaking furious at him for it, and goes off to confront Talbot, saying that she can either talk sense into him or beat his ass. I'm like, okay. So, let's get into what goes on at the ship first. They go in, and we're still dealing with the time effects of this as well, and Matt goes in because they were able to get Robin out fairly well, but Polly had been locked up. So Matt goes in, Fitz goes to me like, Mac doesn't make it. So they kind of go in to go help him out. And I like Mac's fight scenes in this. He's really kind of stable and kind of blocky and just kind of tactical with how he's fighting. Then, of course, May just comes in and wrecks 7 different kinds of shit, as well as Fitz giving support. So they're able to get them out, but within the effects of this, Mac gets out, but debris falls on Fitz. And we find out that Fitz has been mortally wounded. And when I'm watching it, I'm like, ah, crap, this really sucks. I just wish it had been in a better season or a better way. I'm not adverse to characters dying. It's just, I hope that the execution works in a very good way. Mainly what I see in Game of Thrones. Eddard Stark's death was earned, and even though I don't like it, it is executed very well. Pun kind of intended. Same with Robb Stark's. These characters made decisions, and their deaths were the consequences of those decisions. Here, it feels like more of a plot demanding it more than the characters' decisions demanding it. And I just don't know how much more I can reiterate on that kind of thing. You can tell when the events of the outside are demanding that something happens to these characters rather than the characters' decisions themselves. You see this happening in like Supernatural. That season finale is and this is another one. I'm over 2 on this kind of crap because I'm like, this is not how you do it. But okay, whatever. So Mac and May sit there, and it's kind of emotional because he's thinking that it's just his legs or whatnot not working, and we see Fitz die. I'm like, that really sucks. And that's kind of where that portion ends. Then we get to the fight with Daisy and Coulson, which they saved up a good amount of budget. This one was a better kind of fight than what we had seen before. She just blasts her way into it, and she starts talking about Talbot being a hero already. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, all the stuff he's done? I mean, trying to be a hero, he's already been a hero. But he, of course, wants to get stronger to fight Thanos and everything, and just starts beating her pretty much down. And he's getting... This is one of the biggest portions that I really don't like. Because he's pretty much like, yeah, with your powers, I'll pretty much be unstoppable. And he attempts to eat her Gravitonium style. She then finds out that Coulson put the serum in her arm gauntlets, injects it with herself, and this somehow stops Talbot from being able to eat her. And somehow power boosts her up enough to super shove Talbot into orbit where he pretty much just freezes. So I don't know if he's dead or if Talbot's personality is dead and one of the other ones can be allowed to take over. I quite frankly don't give a crap because essentially it turned into just a shoving match and Daisy was just able to, because of plot reasons, super shove him into outer space. Even though his power is gravity. And he has shown a ridiculously adept control over it to the point that he whooped Daisy's ass. I don't understand how this centipede serum was able to power her up enough to do that. You need to work that into your story. That was not executed or shown or told enough throughout the story to be able to make it a good ending for Talbot's arc. So, then we go and we see them kind of fiddling with the ship. You make it look like they're doing a remembrance for Fitz, but they're drinking the Hague in retirement for Coulson because the time loop is broken and we still have a Fitz frozen out in space. So that's a character death that is then undone as well. Now, granted, I'm kind of okay with it, but I'm kind of not. I'm like, I dealt with enough fake outs from The Walking Dead. That's another one where plot demands that stupid shit has to occur. I'm like, yay, Fitz is alive. It'll be interesting to see, like, well, would they get married again? Because, I mean, Simmons is married Fitz, but that Fitz has not been married. And I'm like, okay, so now that's a thing that they could search for. But I'm like, then what was the point of that Fitz's death? Just to be like, oh, we got stakes. This Fitz died, but we still got a spare Fitz. It would have been interesting if this Fitz went haywire and they're like, wait a minute, we still have a Fitz. How do we counter this dark Fitz? We gotta go get that other Fitz. Yeah, it would have been kind of weird, but it's a comic book show. That stuff happens in comic books too. So Coulson goes out and him and May retire on Tahiti for him to die, and that's where it ends, before even like the Infinity War snap. And Fitz deserves a better death, and Coulson deserves a better death, and Talbot deserves a better death. I just think that this season started with so much promise and just went nuts, where I don't think the writers had a true endgame involved. And I know that Infinity War ties into that and ties into it, but they could have done this better. These characters deserve better, and the audience deserves better. Now, is it to the level of The Walking Dead where I kind of think that the showrunners have a contempt for their fan base? No. I just think bad writing occurred, and they didn't know how to effectively wrap up the season. So I don't know what's going to be happening and what kind of shakeups are going to occur, but after this, I'm kind of glad that there's going to be a longer one and that we have to wait to 2019, pretty much after the next Avengers movie, to see what happens. And Coulson deserved a better exit than this. He has been a pivotal part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and he deserves an end and a death befitting that status. And I don't think that this was the best way to go out with it. I mean, I liked him deciding to spend his remaining days on a sunny beach with May. I just think how we got there and the execution of it was just poorly done. And I don't know where they're going to be going from here. I mean, I would like to see Mac led S.H.I.E.L.D. and what's going to be going on with that. Though I would think that Yo-Yo should not be put in the field at all and should only be relegated to support, even though she is an Inhuman and she's got superpowers. This whole season has made her look crazy and a loose cannon, reckless, even worse than Daisy. And Daisy was doing some crazy stuff too. So I was not a fan of what was going on towards the back half of the season, and I really did not like this season finale and hope that something better can come when it returns. So those are my opinions on the episode. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.